All right, what's up, team? Today we are talking about scapular winging. I have been saying winning, scapular winning for some reason, but scapular winging. And so what it is when your scaps, your shoulder blades basically pop out of your back, or they wing out from your body, and should you be worried about it? So I'm going to preface this video with, if you think you have an issue with it, go see a qualified individual, doctor, therapist, somebody who is qualified to actually see you in person and help you with it to determine what you need to do. So, but these are some strategies I want to talk about, some things that you can get to think about if you just need to self-test and try to figure it out on your own. But please, go see somebody to help you out. All right, so scapular winging, we want to know first off is it injured? Do you have this issue because you have a structural problem? If you do, then that's good information to know, is like, can it actually be fixed? For me, example, I wing on my right side a lot more because I have a 3rd degree AC separation, meaning my clavicle is no longer attached to part of my scapula, so it wings out naturally, and structurally, unless I have it go get a surgery done on it, it's not really going to limit, or it's going to not going to stop any winging that's actually occurring because it's not attached anymore. So that's just something to be aware of. Now, it doesn't cause me any problems. When I was going to have it done, it was either trade it for a bump or a scar. If I got the surgery done, I have a scar and it could possibly happen again. My baseball career was over at that point. I don't need to go get that fixed. Okay, so structurally, is there something wrong with it? And so structurally, the muscle that attaches to that is called the serratus anterior. Go Google it, research it if you want, learn more about it. The other portion of that is neurologically, is there something wrong? So there is a nerve that feeds the information to the serratus anterior that actually moves your scapula, and it's called the long thoracic nerve. And so if there is a degeneration or a problem with that nerve, then that is an injury, and that can cause winging in your scapula as well. So that's just something to be aware of, okay? So after we have this information, is it injured? Next we want to know is it smart? And what I mean by that is that, kind of piggybacking off the neurological side of it, is it getting good information to the nerve and to the joint to make sure that it can actually function properly? Because if it can't, then you're going to continue to have a problem. And so some things that we start to look at is, Missy talked about this the other day, about receptors. And the receptors that are actually sensing information, touch, vibration, heat, nociception, that's the pain receptors. If those aren't doing their job, or they're overactivated all the time, then you could be getting a conflicting signal or problem in that area. So one exercise that we can do is actually skin stimulation. Is we can start working skin stimulation all through everywhere that it gets its information. And where that area gets its information is C5, C6, C7. So it's like the base of your neck. And so giving it a little skin stim down there can actually allow it to function better. The next part of that is actually the nerve function itself, and there's various nerve glides that we can slack and slide and do, which we're not going to go into detail here. There's various nerve glides and so forth that you can do to improve the information that area is getting to it. Okay, and then the third thing we want to look at is at the actual basic function of the joint itself. Does it upwardly rotate? Does it move? Does it slide and glide along your rib cage the way it's supposed to? If it doesn't, then we need to improve that function on there. Okay, so here's I want to give you a couple exercises that you can do to start improving the function, that kind of blanket approach of giving it better information, making it function better, and seeing if it actually feels better, because feel is a big part of this as well. Like, you have a good idea of like, something just doesn't feel feel right. Well, if we give you these exercises, does it feel better? If it feels better, then we're starting to move down the right path to make sure that it functions better, okay? So the first one is just cervical mobility, and we're actually gonna mobilize the base of your neck. So what you can do is give your neck a little skin stimulation, and then from there we're going to work different neck rotations. So I'm going to lengthen up nice and tall, and I'm going to rotate side to side. Now when I rotate side to side, I want to think I'm going to move from the base of my neck. So I want to try to move from that bottom neck joint, not just the top of your head. So that's rotations. From there we can go into flexion, lateral flexion. And when we start mobilizing these joints, because some of those nerves come from the root of those joints, the C5, C6, C7, hopefully we can start to function better. Next we can have flexion extension. Okay, so those are 3 exercises you can do for your neck to get better information sending down to it. Next we have camshafts. We talk about camshafts all the time, but all it is moving your scapulas in a circular motion. So I can do camshafts in very different variations and directions. So the most basic one is just arms out at about 45 degrees. I'm going to shrug up, pull back, squeeze down, and then reach forward. And I'll show you from the back here, but we're getting the scapula to move very controlled in its full range. So from the back, up, back, down, forward, up, back, down, forward, reverse. And your goal here is when you're doing this is to make sure that it's very smooth. It's not choppy, ratchety, but it's very smooth. So this would be forward. We could also do these side. Now this is going to be a lot more challenging for you to do, but the premise is the same. You're trying to get the scaps to move in a circular fashion, and then we can go up, which is even harder here. Okay, so you get the idea. Different arm positions are going to be a little bit more challenging. All right, so that's just your basic function, and then following that is just shoulder circles. So if I bring my arm out across, I can go across my body and draw circles. It's going to put my scap in a little bit different position. If I bring it out to the front, okay, out to the side, and that movement is coming from the joint, not from the hand. Okay, it's coming from the joint, scapula. Okay, so those are some basic mobility exercises you can get to allow it to function a little bit better. And then the third thing we want to think about is it strong? Does it just need load? Some body weight exercises that you can do. The pup is just a push-up position plank, and what I'm really trying to do is push the floor away so that I get that scapula to roll to the side here. So in that push-up position, okay, I have a winging, I'm going to push away. Now I'm getting some basic strength exercise in that push-up position. Push that floor away and get it to move to the side there. Next we have is a 6-point camshaft. So again, I'm taking this movement right here and I'm going to start to load it. So in the 6-point position or rocking position, what I can do is turn my hands out just a little bit, and again I'm going to move through that camshaft, get it to strengthen up in that rocking position. Okay. Third exercise on this is called a 5-point IYT. People have different names for it. I'm just trying to make it simple. So again, in this position here, I'm going to move my arm up into an I position, out at a 45-degree angle Y, and then T position. And the cue here is that you're moving from the shoulder. You're moving from the shoulder blade, not from the arm or the the top of the shoulder, so shoulder blade. So in this position, I'm gonna push the floor away. I'm gonna reach up, I, Y, T. And I'm moving from that shoulder blade. I, Y, T. Okay? And that would be on both sides. Moving into some band exercises, we have band pull-aparts. So from this position, one of the band pull-apart variations I like here is thumbs pointed out. So from this position, I'm going to pull that band straight apart, and I'm pulling from the shoulder blades. From the side here, pulling from the shoulder blades. From the back, pulling from the shoulder blades. Okay. Next exercise, we have band dislocates. Sounds kind of funky, but you're going to go to the end of the band here, and the closer you work your hands into that band, the harder it's going to be. So I'm going to hold my hands out here, and I'm going to bring those arms up, pull it all the way around and down, back. If that feels good, you can work your hands in closer. Even closer. And you can use whatever size band you feel is appropriate for you, but this is a very small band. I wouldn't go much heavier than double this band, which is a very small band. Okay. Last one is called a face pull. So all you would do is attach this to a door or a pole or something, and you're going to hold it just like so. And here's the movement. The movement is going to be in a face pull position. So I'm going to pull it up towards my face and bring it back. Pull from those shoulder blades and back. Pull, so elbow position's a little bit higher, and I'm pulling right into my face. All right, so that is band work. And then finally we have kettlebell work. I love the bottoms up position for kettlebell exercises. I think it's phenomenal for creating scapular stability and improving that function. So the first one is called a bottoms up bent arm walk. So all I'm gonna do is hold that in a bottoms up position. I'm gonna march so you don't see me go off screen here, but in a bent arm position, and I'm just going to walk and go a little bit higher. Okay, from front. And that is my bent arm walk, and I would hit, 20 to 40 yards on each side in that walk. Okay. Next one we have is the bottoms up press. I'll go to the kneeling position for this. So bottoms up press. I'm gonna hold that bell bottoms up, and I'm just pressing all the way up. Bottoms up press. And the last exercise, I'm just going to switch here, is a bottoms up external rotation. So I'm in this position, I'm going to externally rotate and bring it back. Externally rotate and bring it back. From the side here, externally rotate, bring it back, externally rotate, and bring it back. There you have it. Go through that list. You can assess and test some things for yourself. But as always, as I said before, it's better to get the watchful eyes of a professional than it is to just guess at what you're doing. So hope this helps, gives you a little bit more information, and as always, let us know if you need any help.